You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's begin. Hey, so Heidi, I brought you cookies because I heard you were feeling a little crummy.
Thanks. I needed that.
They're nice ones. They're the big ones. If anyone has any questions on how to get a hold of me or get some of these cookies, reach out to me. But this is how you get a hold of Heidi. This is Heidi Elliott. I'll let her do her introduction, but here's her contact information. If you want to get a hold of her directly, it'll be in the description as well. And thank you for joining us today. Today we're going to have Heidi spend a little more time talking about this. So why don't you take it away?
Absolutely. Thanks, Victor, for having me today. I am Heidi Elliott with Washington First Mortgage. I am a loan originator here in Kirkland, Washington. And today, Victor invited me in to talk to you guys about FHA loans.
Okay. You ready to get started?
Let's get started.
All right, let's go. Hopefully it doesn't crash again this time.
Right.
So yeah, let's get started on it right now. So let's give a quick overview on the FHA loans.
Yeah, so FHA mortgage loans are created and insured by the Federal Housing Administration. And these loans were ultimately created to expand the home ownership availability to more borrowers than was before an FHA loan program came about. And they did this by being a little less stringent on certain areas that a conventional or other traditional loan programs will actually require. And so the FHA loan may be an option for you if you aren't meeting those minimum and little tiny requirements that are required on that conventional loan. And so continue to listen.
Okay, cool. Well, let's get into the benefits then. So what's it look like? Is it just mostly a loan down payment, or is it just better interest rates kind of thing? Like,
yes.
Can you get into that?
Yeah, so there's a few. Yeah, so like you mentioned, low down payment. So the FHA loan, one of the benefits is definitely low down payment. So the down payment can be as low as 3.5%. And that down payment can include gift funds. So if you're getting some sort of gift from family members or somebody, you can use that towards your down payment.
Okay, cool. And then lower debt to income and everything like that, and leniency a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. So with credit histories, for example, your credit FICO score, traditional loans normally want to see a 620 FICO score, but with FHA, they can go as low as 580 FICO score. So there's some leeway there on that.
Okay,
one for
cool.
sure.
Let's talk about some of the things we need to have to look out for in an FHA loan.
Right. Absolutely. So there's a few things to consider before going with an FHA loan, and one of that is the mortgage insurance premium. So if you aren't putting at least 10% down on the FHA loan, that premium will be on the loan for the life of the loan. If, though, you do put 10% down, it will be on the loan for 11 years. So that is something to consider. There's a 1.75% upfront mortgage insurance premium that's required at closing. You can roll that into the loan, but there's also an annual premium that's broken up into your monthly mortgage payment that's also added. So there's a couple things to look at on that one with the mortgage insurance premiums with an FHA loan.
Okay, anything on the like the appraisal, is that any different?
Yeah, so appraisals are different. So it's the same form that the appraiser fills out. However, it does have to be done by an FHA approved appraiser, and then they are going to look at a few other things. So there's a few things on different loan programs that they don't look at and don't really care about, but with FHA loan, they have to make sure that there's certain requirements being met, and we'll get into those here in a second.
Okay, cool. And let's get into the minimum requirements in the house. Like usually the big thing that I know is they want to strap down the water heater and stuff like that. So
yeah, so that is actually required on all loans, but with the FHA, definitely. So with FHA, minimum requirements on the property, they want safety, they want security, and they want soundness. So safety, for example, that's when that double strapped heater comes in, or handrails on the property, or maybe if you have a deck, if it's above certain X amount of feet, you're going to have some guardrails on there.
okay, so it's mostly they want to make sure that you don't like buy a house that needs significant kind of
right.
reconstruction to make it happening, or remodeling.
No, exactly.
Minor fixer-uppers are fine.
Yeah.
And then what's the kind of the bottom line on a FHA kind of thing?
So
Is it
bottom
right for
line
you?
is you really got to look at your own financial picture and your own goals ultimately and see if an FHA loan makes sense. There are a lot of those pros that we talked about, but there are also some of those cons that we kind of discussed a little bit as well. So definitely look at your own financial picture, talk to a loan originator, look at different options. FHA loans are great programs. However, with certain people's pictures and financial situations, maybe it's not the right one for you, but it definitely could be for sure.
Okay, cool. Well, perfect. And let me just switch over real quick. So again, I really appreciate you spending a little bit of time actually getting into this, because like I handle a lot of these kind of conversations, and it's always like, hey, is this a conventional market? Is this an FHA market? Should I use my VA on this? Or, even occasionally we run into the USDA, and you did that video before on the USDA. So if you have questions on the USDA one, it's linked right here. Also, just, as a friend of mine, like any kind of feedback you want to throw me under the bus in front of anybody here? Or like,
No, definitely not. No. Okay. One of the things though, for sure, is with FHA, it's the property. It definitely has a bad, when borrowers are looking, or buyers are looking for a property, and they go and put in a offer with a seller, and they see it's an FHA, it tends to be that a lot of these it's kind of frowned upon, it seems, on the seller's side. And that comes with the agent side, where they can kind of educate and be like, look, no, that's not bad. That's actually, they're just making sure that this home is appropriate for living, right? So it does kind of have a bad rap ultimately when it comes to trying to get your offer accepted. But that's when great agents like Victor come in and educate those sellers or the buyers on, why the FHA is a good, actually great loan program. But that's kind of one of those things that you can run into.
It's pretty
as an
strong.
agent.
Like the big thing that you run into is like there's the maximums that you can't have, especially in this area. Like
right.
You're not sometimes when you're in like the King County or like anywhere else, and you have like a really large house, it's just too big. So
right. Exactly.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on again today.
Yes. Thanks for having
everybody
me.
kind of liked you last time, so I just wanted to bring you back in.
Thanks, guys.
But again, my name is Victor Ashley, and I'm a real estate agent out of Seattle, Washington with Skyline Properties. And again, this is Heidi Elliott with Washington First. This is how you get a hold of her right here.
Yes.
And at the same time, feel free to leave a snarky comment, but please be nice. And at the same time, follow along and subscribe, because we cover a lot of different topics, areas, zip codes, and concepts that might be important to you, and we can be talking about your situation or your neighborhood next. And as always, it was a pleasure working with you today, Heidi. I really appreciate it.
Also
You're one of my good friends, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.
Yay!